Dumela, and welcome to Embracing Fatherhood, the show about botai, mabopa, babomdal, present or absent, the significance and the roles. Now, children, the reflection of ourselves, our morals, values, ethics, teachings, practices, aspirations, etc. We look at them as a reflection of our contribution to society. But how do you project your influence on a child? Well, let's ask the dads.
Hey, me happy man like strict the dog. Eish, I think I'm the only one who kalamelang kolabi. And I don't think I do that to belittle or whatever. It's more of I really wanted to understand that there are consequences in life. And I want to be that father who teaches them that live freely, don't hurt people, and you'll be rewarded for it.
One of the biggest decisions I had to make, thanks to my wife being there to help with the process, was moving my children from private school to government school because the economics within our household were not making sense. And I had sleepless nights because I'm like, come on, how am I failing at this? Now everybody looks at me and they're like, dude, but you're on 3 different platforms. How are you not able to do that? And I'm like, I gotta make this decision. And when I did that, I then set my children out. I told them, guys, this is how things are gonna be. Things are not gonna be nice. But don't listen to what they say out there. Let's just do us because we are the Matibis. We kill everything that comes before us. We out MC anybody. We out television anybody.
Other than that, man, kids will be kids, dog. They fall. She has to learn pain to some degree, and you just right now we're not talking. She hasn't learned how to talk, but as soon as she does, oh man, I'm looking forward to that, dog. Like I really want to hear her voice, have that in my mind. That's my daughter's voice. That's how she sounds. That's the way she talks. I'm looking forward to how her laugh. She has a laugh right now, but it's still a kid's laugh. So it's kind of like generic. But probably 2-3 years from now, she'll have her own. I'm really looking forward to the good things. The challenges, yeah, they'll be there. The teenage years, heartbreaks. Actually, I've actually wondered to myself, when I went through a heartbreak, I didn't tell my parents. So I'm wondering to myself, is she gonna tell me when she gets a heartbreak? You know what I mean? Because hey, none of those Solomon thing like that.
You're different.
So I might. But other than that, I'm just looking forward to the good things, the challenges.
There's conversations I couldn't have with my dad because he was, and sometimes when you do some things, you don't want to tell God about it. And I think what that allowed, which was wrong, was for me to speak to my friends, and friends are never the best people to speak to about certain things because they'll give you the worst advice in the world. And I'm trying to change that by being my son's friend. So I'm hoping that when he becomes a teenager, he will still be my homie the way he's my homie now, so that when, a girl comes into the picture, for example, he can come to me, we can go out for drinks, and he can tell me about his life and how he's doing. That's basically the goal of including feelings and emotions into our relationship. And I think being accountable to your children is very important. That's the other thing.
Yeah, so we try and raise our kids as well, just to know God for themselves. And, discipline-wise, that's been a challenge, especially with the older one as he grows older and, his developmental dynamic changes as well, he's more of an aggressor and, so it's been a fine balance of disciplining, not sparing the rod, and making sure that he understands it's from a place of love all the time, but that it's just setting him on the right path, not to end up falling off track when we are no longer there to direct him.
Now, here at the show, we of course love our dads, but tough love is better than no love. And one of the biggest realities we have to face when it comes to fatherhood is responsibility and the lack of it. So let's find out from our fathers and some experts what they have to say on the matter.
Most men do not want to take care of their kids, especially whereby the parents are not together anymore. They've separated. You find that the child is staying with the mother. So the mother demands or requests the father to maintain this child on a monthly basis. And he feels like he does not want to do that because he's parted ways with the mother. So he uses it as an excuse not to take care of the child. I've heard once, a father who said he's not able to take care of the child because he broke up with the mother. So every time he talks to the mother or he visits the mother's house to see the child, his emotions just go up. So he'd rather cut ties with the both of them.
Because squealing every day, how to squealing. Kona dilo tse re di thikang the chows tsa mo lapeng gore a o apeile o tlhatsitse dilwana your homework, then every day go lo ga teng go enela di-points. Your points you can sell them to nna ke go neela madi ebe wa go a dirisa or one weekend o wina mo kgweding gongwe wa tswa wa di-mallong just for motshegare kore they changed ka dilo o gongwe ga o winne that entire month o kry-a ga o winne mo kgwedi o kgona gore o bo choose restaurant e goreng gongwe you want to go to and eat. So lo lady na re dira yalo kore sengwe le sengwe you wouldn't just get it for free from her. I think na re ruta gore re itse gore go iperekela kind of thing. There's nothing for free.
When I take them to school in the morning, when I pick them up, I'm there. When I do my work, the fact that I know that I'm present in my child's life, in my children's life, makes me go beyond what I feel are my limitations. So my philosophy is be present as a dad.
In my day, dad was right. When he was wrong, he was right. And if he did something wrong, he'll tell you, yeah, well, I knew I was going to be wrong, but I wanted you to learn a lesson. That's why. Whereas now, for example, if I mess up or if I say something wrong, if I say a word I'm not supposed to say, I apologize to my son. If I'm late to pick him up, sometimes he gives me stick. He shouts at me and I take it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, my dude. I'm sorry I'm late. This is why I'm late. Do you forgive me? Yes. All right, cool. Let's move on. So I think those aspects are aspects we didn't have back then, and there's reasons for that. But I think now that, we're in a different environment, kids are growing up in front of TV, in front of their phones, information is available at a whim. I think it's important to include these aspects into families now so that, the kids can grow up knowing that, we're their friends at the end of the day.
We play games every weekend, every day. Let me say every weekend we have something to do with them, because most of the time midweek or month end but when I have time, like this past 2 weekends we've been playing games and Lebanon they're happy that daddy's home every weekend.
The modern fathers are trying, and I don't see them differentiating between a boy child and a girl child in how they're raising them. If it's in one household and we have 2 kids of opposite sexes, I believe fathers or just parents, they don't have that mentality nowadays of I'm going to raise this child this way, I'm going to raise this child this way. I feel like the way they're doing it nowadays, they're not raising them according to their agendas, based on their agendas, because even nowadays, a boy child can do house chores, a girl child can go and work, unlike in the past where we knew that a boy child goes into the fields or the cattle posts, and they don't get to wash the dishes, they don't get to clean in the house and help the mother. Those roles have changed over the years. So what we see now is we teach these kids the same morals, the same principles, and the same values, and they get to grow up, respecting each other and not treating each other in ways that you are a boy child, you are a girl child, and you don't carry value. What we see nowadays is great parenting from both, the mother and father's side.
When growing up, many of us were raised with religion as a staple of family norms, as it established the moral compass of the household. But along the lines, it seems we lost connection as the wires got crossed. How did this happen, and how can we bring back religion into governing the household, especially as fathers? Let's find out how.
Baebele ya re ke ta bua hala ka Baebele nna ha ona se person ka bulang ka sona ya re mosadi o tota ya re mosadi o sukulogileng kana yo na le tshiamo ha kopana le monna o sa siamang mosadi o siamisa monna. So the man becomes righteous because of the salvation e mosadi a nang le yona. Ha monna a le righteous o born again a itse modimo a ba kopana le monna yo sa itseng modimo mosadi o siamisa monna. Then Bible e bere bobedi bo siamisa bana ba ta ba godisetsa mo tshiamong. Yana go thabisa dithong ha ile gore monna ga ana tumelo epe ya ikaegileng ka yone bogolwa thata mo go itseng modimo. Mosadi ga ana tumelo epe ya ikaegileng ka yone bogolwa thata mo go itseng modimo. Ha bana ba bone ba gola ga ba godiswe ke bone ba godiswa ke ditsala tsa bone le ba hiti ka tsela. Ke gone yana mo bonang o kare tumelo e lathegile. E kile a re ha le nna ha ke tsena sekolo ke badile standard 1 ka 1981 ke tsena ka kgorohela ya sekolo, that was 1981. Me ra re tsena aba assembly point ne ro opela dipina tsa gospel. Pina tsa no uta gore go rutwa modimo ga bo go rapelo, then we go back to the classes. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 there was a religious education. Form 4, Form 5 re ntse re na leng assembly point whereby ne re ha re tsena ga bo go opelwa le boiha modimo be le rapela. Me mo nakong ya gompieko dilo tse botsadi le dikwele di tse re boikarabelo ja go godisetsa bana e seng ka hata se ga poiho modimo.
With all this information in mind, we must ask ourselves, to what regard does society hold the position of men?
That's a good question, especially in this day and age where fathers or men in general are losing, the traditional sense of what being a man is and what being a father is. Because remember, it was a very drawn line that you had to follow, and now women can follow that line, and they tend to be very good at it. They're more disciplined than we are when they want to be. They're less spontaneous than we are when they want to be. So sometimes we feel like we don't know what our role is in the family. But I think number one is emotion. That's the most important thing. And that redefinition is throwing in emotion into the mixture.
I do believe there's a crop of fathers who are doing their level best, who are trying to lead by example, who are trying to break away from a mold, even perhaps that they come from, and try and father correctly. I mean, I am seeing fathers at my kids' school a lot, so I'm seeing a presence. As to how they're raising their kids, I'm not sure, but there needs to be a concerted effort from every father to just try and raise their kids, whether boys or little girls, just accordingly, in love, and just teaching them the proper life lessons that they need to carry into their own futures.
The other day I was walking in the streets holding my daughter, and then some lady was like, o tlhokomela ngwana. And I'm like, well, yeah, she's my kid. It's like, hey, ka nako iragale sentle, but banna ba tlhokomele bana malatsing. So in my head, I was like, most guys run away from the responsibility. I haven't seen it. Like most guys that I'm around, they take care of their kids. You know, they try to take care of their kids, and sometimes it doesn't work. You know, sometimes they're fighting with the baby mama. Sometimes they have life challenges of their own, mental health issues, whatever it is.
There is no any other man ke te go itogote borre ba togetse bana kana basadi ba latola ba re borragwe Thabang ragwe junior o gatilwe ke terena. It's wrong. Ask me, I will tell you. Ga gona monna ope o ka dizeta ngwana wa gago ke basadi ba siang ka bana. Ha bana ba ka neela borra bone responsibility ya ngwana. Every man takes pride ya go supegetsa ngwana wa gagwe. Every man everywhere. Even God, when Jesus Christ was baptized, he said, "That is my son with whom I'm well pleased." Every man takes pride. Ya go hona go ngwana ke a selo my first daughter as na go tsholo. Ke tsamaile le ene kana le 5 weeks. Ka re tsamara game city go molong. Because I was taking all the pride, I was showing the world that I have got a daughter. We take pride in that.
If you are a responsible father, you should know that no one, and I mean not even the mother of your child, has any right to stop you from being a father. And there is what we call co-parenting, whereby parents are not together, they're not in a relationship, but they're trying to work together to ensure that they raise the child that they brought into this world. And that is how I believe we've tried to solve this issue of the mother being the reason why the father is not present in their life. There is co-parenting, and that is the route fathers can take, because even there are social workers, there are counselors, there are psychologists that can be involved in this case. You can simply report the mother, because it's against the law to begin with. If the mother is against you as the father, being a part of your child's life, it's against the law. So as a father, what you can do, you can go and report, or you can go and see a social worker and let them know what's going on. They call the mother, you guys are sit down and they speak to you and find out what's going on. You can sign a co-parenting agreement, which will state who takes the child from which day to which day, who does which responsibilities, who takes the child to school, who stays with the child full time.
Tota na ntse ke gola ke ntse ke bona batho ba ba senang bo rra bona ba ntse ba gola. Ke batho ba ileng gore ka bone fela ba lonely wa bona. Ba tlhoka yone part engwe ya monna e kwa monna le teng mo jarateng ka bo bonela. A gona le ngareng gona le sengwe se se supa gore tota go re ka e ba ke reng wa bona. Ba re monna ela le teng mo jarateng ene tota gona le se a ke se kao. Go na le sekao mo jarateng gore nya mme le jarateng na le motho toto wa bona. So tota se ke timo go tsanga tsona ka bana ba ile gore ga bana borra bone kana ba ba tlogetse kana ba tlhoketse kana ba irile ke batho ba ileng gore ga ba rate go gore ba tshola ka teng wa bona ba nna that mental gore ne keng ga no re ba ka reng bona ka gore ga bana borra bona wa bona ke batho ba ileng gore go a ka nna ga ne se go onela ba dingalo mo go maso because ba tlhoka that love e tswa mo monneng because monna le mo jarateng ele ene ka boenela ga le seriti mo jarateng.
Tota hela I believe in our country we're still lacking when it comes to issues of parenting, mental health, we're still behind. We don't get to find such platforms everywhere. It's rare. If you get to be in a place where parents are gathered in a formal setup where they are taught or they're advised, or it's a workshop, parents workshop, it's a 2 out of 10, So when it comes to issues of just being proactive in teaching and advising parents without, before the fights, before the whatever issues we can think of, we are not good at that. What we do is we'd want them to come and complain, and then that's when we try to act. So I think that's the gap we have. I think if we were to, go out there, if it should be easy as a parent to know that I'm going through the most. I need to get parenting skills. I need to get whatever information I can get to be a better parent. So I can go to 1, 2, 3. And we don't find it here. It's not that easy. People don't even know where to go. As a parent, if I'm failing, I wouldn't know where to go in an instant. I'd have to research, but if I know I have a headache, I know where I can go. So I wish it was the same thing with mental health, that, our society would be able to know that if I'm going through this, if I see signs of depression, if I feel like I'm failing my kids, if I feel like I'm having disputes with my children, this is the right place to go. So parents are they're not given that platform to teach them, to train them. If they're there, they have to pay.
Well, that definitely serves us with a lot of bones to chew. We hope that this episode was as insightful for you as it was for us. We do hope that you join us again next time. So until then, it's God bless.